Drop the.
Guess who's in the house? Jay Flaccid. What's up, buddy? What are they discussing? Evidential or love? Probably evidential. There is no such thing as a logical problem. No, there isn't, Jay. In your little pea brain, you think there is, but actually, for there to be a logical problem of God, you need to be God yourself. You would need to have access to all possible worlds and all knowledge. And you just don't have that, buddy. Sorry, you lose. I mean, dude, Jay, what do you not understand what I just said? The only problem you have is an emotional problem of evil. There is no such thing as a logical. Because your purview doesn't even allow you to even make that distinction or to make that criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole epistemology is limited to natural understanding. It's limited. You're not even, you don't even qualify for something that is a logical proof against God. You need a worldview that even accounts for that. You need to tell us what's ultimate. You need to tell us what the epistemology is. How do you know something's true? How do you have access to all possible worlds? Because you would need access to that to tell us that there's a logical problem against God. It's untenable, period. Jay doesn't get. The only way you could critique the Christian God is an internal critique, but that assumes that you're a believer. You can't do an external critique, Jay. You gotta talk to your brother, because I think your brother is actually more grounded in philosophy than you. Come on, Jay, you're smarter than this. You don't have the epistemological ability to have some type of criticism logically against our God, because you would need to generate something equal to that. Your worldview is very limited. It's the best way to put this. It's subject and limited to any, like, a very, it's just, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. It's bankrupt, to be honest. Like, there's nothing you can appeal to that is universal and that has the capability of explaining all hypothetical worlds. You just don't have that. Any atheistic worldview, any non-Christian worldview, maybe a theist worldview could, but then I would argue, does it have aseity like the Christian God? Then I would still pose the same problem. I never says you need a substitute. You need something that is on par with the Christian God to make that criticism. You don't have access. Your epistemology, I would even argue, is post hoc. You can't even really account for anything that is a priori, much less eternal. How do you even account for a priori truths, Jay? Get Nikolai to help you out a little bit. I think you need Nikolai. It is not a substitute. It's something that's equal to it. And you're doing an internal critique, so you have to assume to be our view to even make that critique. There's no external critique. The thing that you're trying, it's like critiquing the laws of logic. Can you falsify the laws of logic? Well, no, because it's impossible to the contrary. Derpy derp 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 Jay derp.
Now, the intellectual problem of suffering comes in two versions. The logical version tries to show that the coexistence of God and suffering is logically impossible. The evidential version tries to show that the coexistence of God and suffering is highly improbable. So before you start to talk to an unbeliever about the problem of suffering, you need to find out which version of the problem he's supporting. So just ask him, are you saying that it's impossible that God and the suffering in the world coexist? Or are you saying that it's just improbable that God and the suffering in the world both exist? Now, if he's like most atheists, he's probably never even thought about the problem, and so he doesn't have a clue as to which one of these he's saying. And you may need to help him clarify his view by explaining these two versions of the problem and then asking him which one he believes. And what he believes will then determine how you respond to it.
Check it out. Dustin Hoffman, Rain Man, look retarded, act retarded, not retarded. Count two picks, cheated cards. Autistic, sure, not retarded. You got Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump. Slow, yes, retarded maybe, braces on his legs, but he charmed the pants off next to him and won a ping pong competition. That ain't retarded. He was a goddamn war hero. Right. You know any retarded war heroes? You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.